Good evening, and welcome to this week's edition of The Message. I'm your host, Donatus King. We'll spend this next hour with one purpose in mind, and that one purpose is delivering the message that God is Almighty. Everything that ever was, is now, or ever will be, was made by God. Everything that ever happened, is happening right now, or ever will happen, was made to happen by God. God has a master plan for all time and all creation. God is Almighty. The message is brought to you by, is produced by the Society of Knowledge Incorporated. The Society is an interdenominational, religious, spiritual organization. Our members come from various different religious and spiritual backgrounds. We have various different religious and spiritual beliefs. Although we come from different backgrounds and have different beliefs, there is one belief that we share. There's one piece of knowledge that we hold in common. And that's the knowledge that there is a being, by no matter what name we may have been taught to call that being, by no matter what name we may have come to know that being, whether that name be God, Allah, Yahweh, Jesus, Buddha, Noah, nature, by no matter what name, we know that there is a being that possesses not some of the power, not most of the power, but all of the power. We know that there is indeed an almighty being. That's the reason we do the show, and the only reason we do the show, to deliver the message that that being that personally I call God, that being is indeed almighty. Today is January the 19th, 2017, and I remind of that fact because this show, as we are on most Thursdays, we are live. And I remind you of that fact because this show is an open discussion. It's a two-way conversation. For those of you that are watching on television, the numbers that you see on your screen, I invite you to use those numbers and call in. For those of you that are watching on Facebook Live, I invite you to write a comment in. And I invite you to do that, to use the numbers to call in and share with us and share your comments. If there's something that's going on in your church, your synagogue, your mosque, your temple, your place of worship, and you want to let the world know about it, call in and let the world know about it. If there's something that's going on in your nonprofit organization and you want to let the world know about it, call in and let the world know about it. More important than what's going on in your place of worship, at least more important to me, more important than what's going on in your nonprofit organization. If there's something that God has done for you in your life, a miracle that God has worked in your life, and I'm going to repeat myself, a miracle that God has worked in your life. And when I say a miracle, I mean a miracle because the God I'm here to tell you about is working miracles even in the year 2017. On January 19th, 2017, the God I'm here to tell you about worked miracles and is still working miracles. So if God has worked a miracle in your life, call in. Share your testimony with the world. You know, it may be someone that's watching this show right now that's going through some difficult times. They may be going through some health problems, maybe some financial problems, maybe some relationship problems. And they may have tried all different types of remedies. They may have gone to this doctor, this specialist, and nothing was able to cure them. They may have tried this medication, that medication wasn't able to help them. Maybe you went through something similar, and maybe nothing helped you, but God worked a miracle in your life and healed your body. Call in and share your testimony with the world. Let the world know that God is still working miracles here in the year 2017. You know, someone that's watching this show might hear your testimony, and your testimony might be the one thing they need to hear to encourage them, to strengthen them, to help them to hold on until things get better. That's right. I said, share your testimony with the world, because as I speak right now, this show is being seen not only here in the city of New Orleans, not only in the state of Louisiana, not only in the United States of America, but as I speak right now, this show is being seen live around the world. That's right, folks that are in Nicaragua right now are able to tune in over the World Wide Web, and you see that web browser, that website that's on your screen right now. That's www.livestream.com/MessengerDNK. I invite you to log that website into your web browser. And 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, you can visit that website and see previously recorded episodes of The Message. And no matter where you are in the world, even in Nicaragua, on most Thursdays at 7:30 p.m. Central Time, you can go to that website and watch The Message live. I also invite you to lock in our main website. And our main website, that's www.godisalmighty.org, www.godisalmighty.org. Lock that into your web browser. And when you go to our main website, there are links to all of our social media outlets, including our outlet where you can watch The Message live. So lock it in. And for those of you that are watching on Facebook, welcome, and invite all of your friends to tune into The Message live on Facebook. Okay, right now we have a very, very full show. And we have some in-studio guests, and I'm going to welcome them at this time. They're going to bring some real important information. And I understand we have a caller, and caller, as soon as I introduce our guests, we're going to go to our phone lines. We have a caller that's waiting. But before we get to your caller, let's introduce our guests. Good evening, ladies.
Good evening.
Okay, we have to my immediate left, we have author, evangelist, Norma Chapman. How are you doing, Evangelist?
I'm blessed.
And right next to the Evangelist, we have Miss Callie Redd. She is the founder and the president of Callie Redd's initiative, Take Your Life Back Foundation. Miss Redd, how are you?
I'm fine, sir. Thank you.
All right, great. I'm going to do as less talking as possible and let you ladies, first, Evangelist, we're going to start off with you. Why don't you tell us just a little bit about yourself? Now we'll get into some of the work that you're doing, but just tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm Evangelist Norma Chapman. I'm the author of the book, What Faith Can Do. I'm also a survivor from domestic violence, and I'm happy to be here on tonight to share with the world some important things about domestic violence.
All right, and Miss Redd.
Yes, sir.
Why don't you share a little bit about you?
I am Yana Callie Redd Sutton. I am the founder and president, as you said, of Callie Redd's initiative, Take Your Life Back Foundation. I am a big advocate, community leader. I deal with all kind of organizations. I collaborate with different groups. I'm also known as the first official socialite of New Orleans. And I also have a music management company that I just started called Cream as of last October.
All right, busy.
Yes.
Very busy, but that's what we need. You know, we need to have folks that are busy. Let's see, and I'm just doing a little bit of adjustment here for our Facebook, and make sure that we have this straight. All right, the Evangelist. Let's go and have a little bit of discussion. I introduced you as author and evangelist. So author, that denotes, that says that you have authored something. So why don't you tell us about your project? Why don't you tell us about your book?
In the year of 2008, I published a book, the title, What Faith Can Do. And what inspired me to write that book was to reach out and encourage women, men, boys, and girls all over the world, if they're in a domestic violence situation, to leave, to get away from it. First, they should seek God first, face first, pray, and then get out of the situation as soon as possible, because it is deadly and it can lead to destruction.
You know, it's interesting, and I'm glad that you mentioned this. You included in that men. Okay, I think a lot of times when we think of domestic violence, we always think of men as being the perpetrators and the females being the victim. But there are instances where men are victims. Many
men is being abused just as much as women. and I've traveled after publishing the book, and I have spoke to many young men, especially on campus, college campus. They're being abused by their girlfriends. And it's very important that the world should know, not just women, but there's young people, and there's also violence in the home, with relatives, and they don't want to discuss it, or they're afraid to discuss it. So they should know that they should always be aware that someone cares about them, because I don't want to see them get caught up the way I was.
All right. I didn't have an opportunity beforehand to actually write down your contact information. So why don't we start first with you, Evangelist, someone that wants more information about your publication and about the work that you're doing, how can they contact you?
The book is published through Author House Publishing Company, and What Faith Can Do also has a Facebook page. You can also contact me through websites. I'm on every website there is, book stores like Barnes & Nobles or Amazon or whatever. You can get information from those sites in reference to me.
All right. Do you have a website of your own?
Yes.
Okay. And what is that web address?
Whatfaith.com.
Whatfaith.com.
.com.
WhatFaith.
That's correct.
.com.
That's correct.
All right. And viewers, you know what? I apologize, caller. We're gonna take you right now, caller. Are you there?
Good evening, Messenger. How you doing, ladies and gentlemen? How y'all doing?
All right. Doing great, Brother Chris. Doing great. You have some information you want to share with us, Brother Chris?
Yes, I do.
All right.
When I touch my body, I don't have no more trembling up in my legs, my entire body.
All right. Now, you said that your body right now, what's happening with it?
I don't have no more trembling up in my legs.
Oh, man, that's fantastic.
Like muscle spasms.
Right.
I don't have that no more.
Okay, for Brother Chris, let me just share something with our viewers that that may not have met you, that may not have seen the interview we did, and we did that interview about 4 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago,
5
maybe.
years ago.
All right. Well, Brother Chris, was it muscular dystrophy that you have?
No, cerebral palsy.
Cerebral palsy. Okay, Brother Chris has cerebral palsy, and when you hear Brother Chris right now testify as to the trembling being removed from his body, that is indeed a miracle. So viewers, as I was saying earlier, God is making miracles happen even in the year 2017. Thank you, Brother Chris. You have some more information you want to share with us?
Yes, I would like for the viewers to call me with the prayer line and the hope plan of what I have also, and I have the meditation fast that I'm teaching also.
All right, Brother Chris, we're going to have all that coming up in announcements in the second half of the show. But thank you, as always, Brother Chris. Thank you not only for calling in, but thank you for the work that you're doing in our community. Thank you, Brother Chris.
Okay, and I just wanted to say have a blessed night and a blessed day tomorrow.
All right, thank you, brother. Thank you. All right, we thank Brother Chris. That's Brother Chris, and we're going to have some information on the screen a little bit later on about what's happening with Brother Chris and the work that he's doing here in the city. But I want to and I don't know if the camera's going to be able to pick up on this, but this is the publication. This is the book that was authored by Evangelist Chapman. And again, the title of it is What Faith Can Do. What Faith Can Do. And as always, viewers, if you didn't have an opportunity to write down that information, contact information, you can always give me a call. And that number, that's 504-821-3221. Always give me a call, and I'll give you the information. Matter of fact, you can call right now and leave a message, and we'll get back to you and make sure we give you whatever information it is that you are requesting. Evangelist, we're going to come back and get a little bit more information from you in a minute.
Okay.
But I want to give it, and I apologize. That I did not have your first name, Miss Red, and actually, Callie Red. That's like.
And that's what everybody know me as, so that's fine.
Okay,
Yeah.
but so that we can start off formal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, your first name is Yanni.
Yes, sir. Yana.
Yana. All right.
Yana.
Yana. And your last name is
Sutton. Sutton.
All right. All right. So Miss Yana Sutton, better known as Callie Red.
Yes, sir.
All right. Tell us a little bit about the foundation.
Okay, well, my foundation, the main mission is to provide hope, help, options, protection, and empowerment to victims and survivors of domestic violence. And I started this mission because I am also a survivor of domestic violence, and I witnessed a lot of the loopholes in the judicial system, and I noticed that people aren't taking it, well, when I was going through it, they wasn't really taking it as serious as it should be, and domestic violence is life-threatening for women, men, and children of the homes or the situation. And you only have sometimes a small window of opportunity to get out. And help is necessary. It's so necessary. And when you have people working in positions that are desensitized to the situation, it makes
that
it
word
difficult.
desensitized.
Oh my God, it just makes the situation worse. It's like living a nightmare. You're needing help. You need to get away. You need to save your life, your kids' life. You're going where you're supposed to go to get the help. But when you have people that's not in tune with what's really going on, it just creates a problem.
What I'd like to do is, ladies, if you don't mind, and I'm just trying to do a little adjustment here. Not to be salacious or sensational, but to help make a connection with our viewers. If you don't mind, if you can go and tell us your personal experience, because you both shared that you've personally experienced domestic violence. And Evangelist, if we can start with you, if you don't mind, and you share your story.
In the year of 1990, I was shot by a loved one, my boyfriend. I was shot twice in the liver. I was stabbed an inch from my heart. I lied 40 days in a coma with 6-day blood transfusions and 7 surgeries. I had no warning sign, but I want to say to all of the viewers on tonight that there are warning signs. There are warning signs, but I had no warning sign, and by the grace of God, only through the grace of God, that I'm here tonight to share this story. They may not be as blessed as I am to live, to share a story such as mine. But earlier in the show, you mentioned God still works miracles. Well,
Yes.
I know, and I believe with all my heart, I am a miracle.
All right.
I'm a walking miracle.
Yes.
And I want to give God the glory and the praise. And I want someone to hear what I'm saying on tonight, because it's important that you take heed to what I'm saying. And if you are a victim, or if you know of someone that's in a situation, I pray that you would go to them and relate to them what you have heard on this program tonight. And I pray that they would hear you and that you would get help and help them to find help for themselves.
All right, now you mentioned warning signs. Not all the time there are warning signs, but sometimes there are warning signs. Why don't you share a little bit with our viewers?
There are warning signs at all times,
Okay.
not just sometimes, at all times. But you have to know them. You have to recognize them.
Right.
That mean when I said know them and recognize them, is to pay attention to what they're saying to you, their actions, and their conversations. The person that shot me would always say, "I'm not a fighter. I'm a killer." Well, I just took it for, And another thing I wanted to share that I didn't say in my testimony was that he took his own life. So, suicidal person will kill you, your children, and then they'll take their own lives. So, pay attention. I mean, if someone calls you out your name, slap you one time, and I'm sorry, I love you, that's unexcusable. Get out of there, Just don't say that. I know he loves me like I can Tina Turner, he loves me and he's going to do better. No, he's not. And I wouldn't take a chance. And I encourage you not to.
All right. We're going to talk about some solutions and the rest of that, but let's, Callie, why don't you share your story, and then we'll get into some suggestions for our viewers.
Okay, yes, sir. Mine is really like a lot of the young ladies go through today, like how Miss Norma just mentioned, like pay attention to the signs, and that's true. We might not know what they are, but what I want to piggyback off what she said is, my thing is this: you might not know a sign, but you always pay attention to what don't feel right to you. If it don't feel right when it's happening, 9 times out of 10 it's not right. Follow your instinct. And I'm one of those type of people that loves hard, and I think I could change the world and change that person. So I stuck in with my abuser, because at the time I'm not thinking that's what's going on. I had no idea. I didn't know until I got out of the situation and had to go through the whole process. And it's about power and control. There's a domestic violence power and control wheel. If anybody have a chance to look at it online, it explains things to you. And some people use financial control. All of that's part of abuse: emotional, financial, verbal, and physical. And a lot of people don't know that. And mine started off as something simple as pinching. I'm not thinking, like coming up and pinching and things. I could be cooking in the kitchen and just pinching, but I found out later on it's to test your resistance, or to test your movement. And it progresses after that to the hair pulling. Then you get with the verbal, and it just grew. And then I wasn't allowed to go out much. I was alienated. Made to stay inside, couldn't be around a lot of people, couldn't hardly work. I was allowed to go to school, but that was about it. Had to come home. So when they go to taking you away from your family and your friends, that's a problem. And then you have to sometimes know who you're with in a relationship. And some of us, we don't pay attention to all that. Like Ms. Norma say again, pay attention to what they say. And my thing is this: pay attention to the person's family, the family conversations, the family arguments, because I didn't know my abuser had so much going on in his life as a kid and as a man. And then you find all these skeletons in the closet, which leads to becoming an abuser, from being schizophrenic, having an abusive father. And sometimes people don't know that they're picking up this trait. It's just mentally, it's embedded in them. But I went through mine for 5 years. My abuser basically told me if he couldn't have me, nobody could. I was out in Texas. I was trying to come back home, but I was also trying to finish school. My pride would not let me quit school because I had worked so hard for my scholarships and everything. And I just stuck in there and I toughed it out. And then I thought I was in love. I thought I could help him. I thought I could change him. But then I was in a good old boys town. So there, women don't really have a voice. So it was like I was in a nightmare. Like being from New Orleans, it's political. We have a voice. We say we do what we want, but out there, you wasn't allowed to step outside of the box. If you were being abused, you kept your mouth shut and you swept it under the rug.
All right. All right. Well, I thank both of you ladies for sharing your testimonies with us, and it might have helped some for us to be plugged in. But I thank both of you ladies for sharing your testimony with us. And now, if you will, we've heard about the problem. Now we've heard about some of the steps to recognizing the problem. Now, some solutions. If someone out there finds themselves in that situation of domestic violence, what should they do?
Well, I suggest first that they seek help. And in ways of seeking help is get a restraining order, but first you must leave. You have to have the courage to leave.
Okay.
Don't be afraid to leave. Once you've left, then you seek restraining orders, and you make sure that you don't have any connections with this abuser.
All right, and I want to be as plain as I can for the sake of our viewers. When we talk about getting a restraining order, what are the steps? What are the steps? Is that something that you have to have a whole lot of money to go get a restraining order?
No, you can simply go down to Silver Court, and you can do as an informed appropriate, which is if you cannot afford it, you can fill out an application, and then the court will process your petition. And there are advisors down there in family court that would assist you in going through the necessary steps that you need. Also, once you get to Silver Court, you make sure you go back and not just go one time and forget about it, because you're going to find yourself going over and over and over, and you're not going to ever do anything to help yourself. So that's one way of getting some help.
All right.
And another way I would like everybody to know is, because some people, they're afraid to even go into court buildings, because I've had people reach out to me. So you can go to the Family Justice Center if you're in New Orleans. Family Justice Center of Greater New Orleans is like a one-stop shop. There's everything in there you need, from peace bonds, restraining orders, to legal services, things to help you get on your feet. That's where you should go. That's the heart of our domestic violence services. There also is Metropolitan Women's Center, and there's also Crescent House. So you have all those places that has things set up for you so that you don't have to be out here like I was, running around seeking help, getting doors shut in my face, or basically people didn't even know how to help you.
All right. So the Family Justice Center
Of Greater New Orleans.
And that costs what, $500, $1,000? $300?
Free.
Free. Okay.
Free.
See that word? That's the word our viewers
Free.
love.
That's
free.
why they need to know.
Okay, free.
That's why
Yes,
they need
sir.
to know.
So
There is
it's
help.
free. All right, and it's the name of the organization, the name of the place is the Family Justice Center of
Greater New Orleans.
Of Greater New Orleans. Do you have contact information on that?
Yes, I do actually. I'll get it on my phone toward the end. Yeah.
All right. Well, we're getting ready to
Yes.
wrap up now, but I failed, and I apologize. I failed to ask for your contact information.
Okay.
So if someone wants to, and we have about maybe 3 more minutes. If someone wants to get in contact with you, do you have a website?
Yes, I do. It's www.CaliRed's and you also can reach me at Twitter at CaliRed, KALIRED_TYLBF on Twitter.
All right. All right. So And if they want more information about the Family Justice Center of Greater New Orleans, they can contact either one of you.
And
Exactly.
Facebook, yeah. I also have Facebook pages, and I have all
Google it
this
as well.
information on my Facebook page.
All right. And just go to Cali.
Cali Reds Initiative Take Your Life Back Foundation.
All right. All right. Well, ladies, this time has flown by, but I'm sure that we've gotten this information out, and not only for the viewers tonight, but as it'll be posted throughout the rest of the week. That information will be there, and you know, we let God use us.
That's right.
Get this information out and be able to impact lives. Yes.
And I do have the National Domestic Violence Hotline where you could call wherever you are. And that number is 1-800-799-7233. And they will link you to whatever you need, whatever state, whatever city you need.
All right. All right. Well, ladies, I want to thank you for coming in. Evangelists.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Thank you for having me.
All right. And Ms. Sutton.
Yes, sir.
All right, ladies. It's been great having you and sharing that information. And, you know, again, serving our community.
Yes.
Okay, serving our community. All right, we're going to take a brief break. And when we come back, we'll have our announcements as we usually do. And then we may be able to get to our words of inspiration, and that'll be coming out of the book of Genesis, chapter 42. But we're going to take a very, very, very brief break. So you have, maybe about 3 or 4 minutes to grab yourself a sandwich, and then we'll meet you right here on the message.
People who suffer from drug or alcohol addiction sometimes say hurtful things. They drive the people who love them most away. If you know someone who suffers from drug or alcohol addiction, listen. Try to hear what they are really saying. Know that there is hope and help them find their voice again. For drug or alcohol treatment referral for you or someone you know, call 1-800-662-HELP. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
We train to any environment, any situation. It could be up on a mountain, on a cliff, it could be in the ocean, it could be a dive mission, it could be out in the desert or the jungle, Arctic, and that's what makes us unique. The motto of the pararescuemen is that others may live. When you go and you rescue these people, the look on their faces is extremely gratifying, and that's the reward in itself. I'm Captain John Fish, and very proud to be a member of the Air Force Reserve.
For a free booklet on the dangers of smoking, contact the Will Rogers Institute.
My name is Juliet Allen, and I've been here since 1960. And this is my home, my new home, which was replaced after Katrina and the levees failed. But all my neighbors, there are so many of them that we all lost our homes at that time. But with the Lord's help, they'll be back too, and they'll give it a try. I hope this never happens again, though. We need the 829 investigation. It's so important, our lives depend on it.
Home invaders least wanted. Could you be the next victim? American cockroach spreads 33 bacteria and 6 parasitic worms.
And I can trigger asthma attacks.
House mouse contaminates food and transmits disease.
He's lying. Do I look like that kind of girl?
Bedbug feeds on human blood and can cause itchy welts.
Oh, yeah? What are you gonna do about it?
Here's what. Arm yourself with the facts at pestworld.org.
Every child is curious. George, look what I found. Turn their curiosity into a lifelong love of learning.
That's a periscope.
It's one of the most important gifts you can share. create a curious reader.
Oh, you want to build a castle like that one?
This is super bedtime reading. Share a book together today. Visit read.gov.
Yeah, but did you see how much he had to drink last night? I can't believe that guy made it home. Nobody drives drunk anymore. Hold on, I got another call coming in.
While drunk driving rates have dropped greatly, negligent driving and speeding fatalities have skyrocketed. Someone dies every 13 minutes from negligent driving, so keep your hands on the wheel, your eyes on the road, and your phone put away.
Zydeco to me is my life. I grew up listening to this music and said, this don't look too hard to do. My Louisiana is a lot of things. Coming out to the Blue Moon, po' boys at Old Time Grocery. For the best crawfish, you gotta come to my house. We got a saying, tous les jours c'est pas la même chose, which means every day is not the same thing. This area is about having a good time no matter what's going on. I'm Terrence Simeon and this is my Louisiana.
Kids today are full of video games, computers, and cell phones. It's too much of a good thing. Get some nature into your kids. Fill them full of natural wonders, like watching the bald eagle soar, ride the rivers, fish the streams. This weekend, fill your family with the wonders of nature at a national wildlife refuge near you. Many are within an hour's drive. For locations, visit fws.gov/refuges.
America is turning over a new leaf. The SmartWay leaf from the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency. The SmartWay leaf will help you identify environmentally friendlier cars and trucks that can save you money. These vehicles are certified to be more fuel efficient and produce fewer greenhouse gases. And look for renewable fuels to improve our energy independence. Follow the leaf to epa.gov/smartway.
Never speak to strangers. Don't give your name, address, or telephone number to someone you don't know. And always tell me if something or someone frightens you. These are rules we give our kids to keep them safe even when we're not around.
Did you know that the same advice applies to the online world of the internet? Children can be lured into dangerous situations even in the safety of our own homes. Please talk to your kids about how to stay safe online. For tips and information, go to www.ikeepsafe.org.
I took a trip to Elkhart, Indiana today. Elkhart's a place that has lost jobs faster than anywhere else in America. And the people who've lost them have no idea what to do or who to turn to. In fact, local TV stations have started running public service announcements that tell people where to find food banks, even as the food banks don't have enough to meet the demand.
My name is Mina Cray. I have been in New Orleans since 1950. I came here for jazz and never left. I had 3 fairly close friends who had AIDS, and I felt the need to do something for them in honor of them because they're all gone.
Please donate today.
Can you imagine a world without children? A world where children don't play, or dream, or imagine.
At St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, we're working every day to find cures for diseases that strike down children. Because we can't imagine a world without children. Can you?
Finding cures, saving children. St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Call now or log on to stjude.org.
Every parent wants the very best for their child, and the very best includes getting your child vaccinated on time to help protect against serious vaccine-preventable diseases. Hi, this is Heidi Murkoff, author and president of the What to Expect Foundation. I've written the new What to Expect Guide to Immunizations, a free handbook for new and expecting parents, to help answer the questions you may have about the vaccines your child needs. The guide will take the mystery out of vaccinations and even help with some of the ouch. It tells you what you need to know about each vaccine, vaccine, including those combo vaccines, and it answers questions you probably have, like why are vaccines so important? And are vaccines safe? Vaccinations are one of the most important and successful public health advances in history, and they're also one of the best ways to keep your child healthy. To learn more about how to protect your child from serious diseases, visit whattoexpect.org, download the guide, and talk to your doctor about the vaccines recommended for your child. A public service message from the What to Expect Foundation.
Welcome back to The Message. I'm your host, Donatus King, and we'll finish this hour the same way we started, and that's delivering the message that God is Almighty. For those of you that are watching on Facebook, you have the treat. You have the treat of seeing all the behind-the-scene action that goes on during the break. Those that are watching on TV, they see a commercial, but watching on Facebook, you get to see all the different breaking down of sets and putting everything together again. So you get to peek behind the curtain. All right, let's get right into our announcements. Our religious spiritual study, Prove All Things, Hold Fast That Which Is Good, coming out of the first book of Thessalonians, chapter 5, verse 21. Words of inspiration today will be coming out of, and let me make sure we have all this, everything straight here. Words of inspiration will be coming out of the book of Genesis, chapter 42, verses 7 through 21. Announcements. Brother Chris's prayer line. Brother Chris's prayer line. You heard Brother Chris call in a little bit earlier today. That's 504-866-5042. Open Monday, Wednesdays, and from 10 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. And his meditation, he has meditation training. That's 9:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. And that is on, what do we have there? Tuesdays and Thursdays. Bible study in the Cope line, Monday through Friday, 2:30 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. That is free. The suggested readings coming out of the book of James, 1 Peter, James, and John. That's our main website. You heard me talk about that a little bit earlier. That's www.godisalmighty.org. All of our social media outlets, there are links to our religious discussion blog, our Facebook page, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. I invite you to visit all those sites. We have a whole lot of videos on our YouTube page, so visit that, and you might be interested in that. Minister Antoine Brown's prayer line, 504-214-1379. It is free, and if you want to drop Minister Brown a note, you can write him at P.O. Box 94, coming out of Violet, Louisiana, 70092. Peacekeepers in New Orleans, 504-723-3976. They have a beef hotline. So and that beef, that's not beef like the meat that you eat. That's beef like folks that are having disputes, that are having humbugs. So if you know someone that's having some difficulties out there, give the peacekeepers a call, and they'll come out and try to mediate, try to make things smooth. We need an intern here on the message, on the TV show. So if you know someone that's interested in media, whether it's TV media, whether it's social media, and they're interested in getting into that film, they can actually come and volunteer as an intern, and they can learn all about working in the studio with TV cameras and working with live stream cameras, all the rest of that. Just give us a call, and that number is 504-821-3221. Give me a call. Renaissance One is hiring, and that phone number is 504-243-1901. And we want to encourage all of our viewers, if you know of an employer that is hiring, please give me a call, let us know, so we can put that information on the board. Rock of Ages Ministries International, Apostle Ronnie Bailey, their main website, www.ronniebailey.com. They're doing some great work here. They're based out of Lafayette, but they always have things going on here in the great New Orleans area. St. Joan of Arc Catholic Church, 8321 Birch Street here in the city of New Orleans. Services are Saturdays 4 p.m., Sundays 8 a.m. and 10 a.m. You're reminded to call 311 for smoke detectors if you're in the New Orleans area. They will come and install them for free. It costs you nothing. It might save a life. Please don't leave children in your car. Please check your car for children in the back seat. Glory Land Congregational Baptist Church, 4541 America Street, here in the city of New Orleans. The phone number is 504-242-8444. Glory Land is pastored by the Reverend Adam Lee. Reverend Lee is a pastor teacher. Sunday schools 9 a.m. Worship service Sundays 10:30 a.m. Prayer service Tuesdays 7 p.m. Bible study Tuesdays 7:15 p.m. McDonald 35 brick sale. Support McDonald 35 buy a brick. And looks like I think we skipped one there. You're right. There it is. The God is Almighty worldwide message tour. It's going to be, the next tour stop will be in Sicily Island, Louisiana, and that's up near Monroe. We'll be in Sicily Island and we'll be in Monroe, and that's going to be February 12th through the 14th. So all of our viewers that are in the Sicily Island, Monroe area, Faraday area, all in the same area, but that's northeast Louisiana. We'll be there February 12th to 14th. We'll give you some more information as far as particularly where we'll be. So come on out and join us. Religious Spiritual Study, prove all things, hold fast that which is good. Coming out of the first book of Thessalonians, chapter 5, verse 21. All right, words of inspiration coming out of the book of Genesis, chapter 42, verses 7 through 21. And Joseph saw his brethren, and he knew them, but made himself strange unto them, and spake roughly unto them. And he said unto them, Whence come ye? And they said, From the land of Canaan, to buy food. All right. Now, for those of you that have not been watching the show, let's come up to speed on what we're reading, what we're talking about. Okay, the scriptures is talking about Joseph, the son of Jacob, who is now the second most powerful man in Egypt. And the way he came to be in Egypt, he's not an Egyptian, he's a Hebrew. And the way he came to be in Egypt is that his brothers were jealous of him. They threw him in a pit. They stole his coat of many colors. Now some of you might remember that. Joseph with the coat of many colors. They stole his coat of many colors, told his mom and daddy that wild beasts had devoured him, had killed him, so they lied about that. But they threw him in a pit. And then he was pulled out the pit by some people, and he was made a slave. Then he was made a prisoner in Egypt. And through miracles being worked by God, he came to be the second most important man in Egypt, second most powerful man. The only person that was more powerful than Joseph in Egypt was Pharaoh. So that's where we are now. And what has happened is that there's a famine across the whole world. Okay? No crops are growing around the whole world. None. And everybody in all the different countries are starving, except for the people that are in Egypt. And they are not starving because Joseph was given a gift from God, and that gift was the ability to interpret dreams. And before the famine started, God let Joseph know through a dream, and he actually gave the dream to Pharaoh. And Joseph interpreted the dream, told Pharaoh what the dream meant. And the dream meant that for 7 years, the harvest was going to be plenteous. It's going to be a good harvest, a whole lot of food growing. And after those 7 years of good and plenty, there were going to be 7 terrible years, 7 lean years, 7 years where no food would be growing nowhere throughout the world. And God gave Joseph the ability to interpret that dream and tell Pharaoh what that dream meant. And Pharaoh listened to Joseph. And during those 7 years of good and plenty, they took and saved as much food as they could, as much grain as they could. They said there was more grain than you could count. So they had all this saved up so that when those 7 bad years came, everybody throughout the world was starving, but the people in Egypt were not, because they had this food they had put in the storehouse. Now, Joseph's family that was living in the land of Canaan, they heard about all the food that they had in Egypt. And Joseph's daddy, whose name is Jacob, and his name was later changed to Israel, so that's where Israel comes from. That's Jacob. But Jacob sent his sons. He said, look, boys, look, we over here in Canaan and we starving. Nothing is growing. Everybody's hungry. But I hear tell that there's a lot of food in Egypt. So go over there to Egypt and try to get some of that food. Now, Jacob didn't know that Joseph was in Egypt. Jacob thought Joseph was dead, because that's what Joseph's brothers came and told Jacob. They came back and said, oh, look, Daddy, your baby boy, Joseph, got ate up by some wild beasts. So everybody thinking that he's dead. Now, his brothers knew that he wasn't dead, because they knew what they had done. They knew they threw him in that hole, in that pit. They knew that. But they didn't realize that he was in Egypt. And they definitely didn't know that he was the second most powerful man, that God had worked all these miracles and made Joseph the second most powerful man in Egypt. They didn't know that. And there's a whole lot of years have passed from the time they threw Joseph in that pit, threw him in that hole, until where we are in the scriptures that we're reading about tonight. There's a whole lot of years that passed. Joseph has been a slave. He's been a prisoner. He's been out of jail. He's been made the second most powerful man. Pharaoh has given him a wife. And by this time, he's had children in Egypt. So a whole lot of years have passed. All right? And that's where we're picking the story up tonight. And that's why when we read the scriptures, and the scriptures say, look, let's read that again. And Joseph saw his brethren, and he knew them, but made himself strange unto them, and spake roughly unto them. And he said unto them, whence come ye? And they said, from the land of Canaan, to buy food. Now see, let's just step back a minute. All right, let's just step back a minute. Look what's going on here. Joseph is now looking at his brothers. He hasn't seen them in a whole lot of years, but he recognized them. He recognized them. He knows who they are. But look at all the thoughts that's going through his head right now. These are the same jokers that stole his coat of many colors. The same jokers that threw him in a pit and left him to die. His own flesh and blood, his own brothers that treated him that bad. Now Joseph is looking at them, and they're coming to him and bowing down in front of him and asking him for help, saying that they come for some food. Now look at all of this, the emotions that Joseph is experiencing now. You know, now Joseph was a man, okay? Joseph was a man, just like any other man. So I know, being a man, if it was me, one of the emotions I'd be feeling is not only anger, thinking about what they did, how they threw me in that pit, but I'd also be thinking about some revenge. Oh, I got you now, fools. Y'all treated me so bad, threw me in that hole, left me to die. Y'all made me turn into a slave. And I was treated so bad as a slave when I could have been living at home with my mom and my daddy and living a good life. But no, because of y'all, I wound up in that hole. Y'all stole my coat of many colors. That was a pretty coat. I loved that coat. That was a nice coat. And y'all stole that. Not only was I a slave, but I wound up in prison because of y'all. Oh, this is some get back time now. I'm going to get y'all back for all that y'all did. See, that's just a human emotion. See that? And we can see that Joseph is experiencing that because when he first saw him, he didn't just cry out and say, oh, my brothers, I love y'all so much. Oh, y'all come on here. I miss y'all. Oh. He didn't say nothing like that. The scripture said that he saw them, he knew them, but he made himself strange to them. He acted like a stranger. He didn't say, oh, this is me, Joseph, your brother. You don't recognize me because I've grown up. He didn't say none of that. The scripture said he made himself strange. So look at that. That's what's going through his heart, going through his mind. Oh, y'all suckers, I'm going to get y'all now. And then the scripture said he spake roughly unto them. It wasn't no loving, kind words. He spake roughly unto them. And he said, well, why are you coming here? You know, what's your business here? All right? And he knew where they were from, but the scriptures say that they answered him and told him that we are from the land of Canaan. All right. And Joseph knew his brethren, but they knew him, but they knew not him. Oh, man. And Joseph remembered the dreams which he dreamed of them, and said unto them, ye are spies to see the nakedness of the land. Ye are come. All right. We're gonna finish right on those two verses. Joseph recognized his brothers. He acted like he didn't know them. He knows that they really are there to buy food. But this is a little bit of that get back that he's doing right now. A little bit of that revenge. He's making them suffer. He's making them afraid now. He's saying, you're lying to me. You didn't come here for any food. You spies. You are spies. Now just understand now. Joseph's brothers, just like Joseph, they were Hebrews. They were foreigners. And you know, just like today, there are folks in America that don't like foreigners. There are folks in America that want to build a wall, keep the foreigners out. Well, back in them days, it wasn't anything different. There were folks that didn't like foreigners. And they were skeptical about foreigners. They were leery about foreigners. Now here are these Canaanites, these Hebrews, coming from a foreign land, coming into Egypt. They look different. They talk a different language. And they're coming into a foreign country. And now look at here. They're coming to buy some food. And now the second most powerful man is calling them a spy. So now, don't you know that them brothers were starting to shake? Huh? Don't you know they were starting to get scared? Oh, Lord. This man thinks that we spies. He going to kill all of us, thinking we're spies. We just came to get some food. All right? All right? So that's what's going through their heads. And Joseph knows that that's his intention, to make them afraid. All right. Oh, yeah, we just starting to get good now. We're going to finish this up next week. If you want to look ahead and read ahead, that's all right. I read ahead. I enjoy reading ahead. But just the same way that God had a plan, that all this was planned out by God, the same way that God had this plan, we know that God has a plan for you, has a plan for me. And my prayer is that God's plan for each of us in this upcoming week